this amphitheater now is the center of our riverfront park system, and a postcard opportunity on Salem's skyline to welcome people to Salem and bring all kinds of events here. It's Salem's living room. It's Salem's gathering place.
That's going to be the cool part, is when something shows up there that you're like, that's not even at all what we thought we were building. And they fit in here and they say this is the only place we could do that. That's really what we're looking for in something like that.
3, 2, 1.
Be a part of your community and make things happen. And there's a quote from Governor McCall: heroes are not giants framed against a red sky. They're people who say, this is my community, it's my responsibility to make it better.
And as we all know, Gerry Frank has arrived, so the party can begin. Can't have a party without Gerry, that's for sure. So hello everyone, my name is Jane Griggs, and I'm the current president of the Rotary Club of Salem, and it's my honor to MC you, hi Peggy, tonight. So that Rotary Club is also known for something else. It's the club that gets things done. And boy, have we gotten some things done. So we're here to celebrate. So joining me on the stage is Governor Kate Brown. Senator, I think you're over there. I'm over there. Senator Betsy Johnson. And our very own Mayor Chuck Bennett, who is my favorite. And of course, Gerry Frank. Gerry. So I think we could all agree that this amphitheater, the Gerry Frank Salem Rotary Amphitheater, is the crown jewel for this fantastic community park, event park in Salem. And you might have noticed just a little something going on called the Ironman Triathlon. Woo! So that's happening Sunday, and I know that we don't have very many triathletes in the audience. Do we have anybody that's participating? I shouldn't really shut that off without knowing. But we all have a different kind of endurance. We had to figure out how to park, how to walk, how to get that transport. And thank you so much, Deb McCune and Dave Christian with Ironman. Deb McCune is with Travel Salem, and they helped us. And Tammy Denny, and that was a last minute this morning fix, which couldn't have been a better solution to our problem. So, we have a very august group of speakers, and I'm going to start with Dave Harrelson. Dave is Kalapuya. You can come on up, Dave. It'll take you a while to, make the walk. And he's also the Cultural Resources Department Manager for the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, where he is also a tribal member. David currently serves on the State Advisory Committee for the Historic Preservation and was recently appointed to the Oregon Arts Commission, which is a fabulous commission to be on. All right, so please welcome Dave.
Yeah, I'm supposed to say hello. Well, hello, thank you for having me. As a Kalapuya man, there's really only a few reasons. As a Kalapuya man who doesn't live in Salem, there's a few reasons for me to come to Salem, and that is 1, for government business, and 2 is to eat Gerry Frank's chocolate cake. So I do want to give a special thank you to Salem Rotary and the City of Salem, and then really a special thank you to Dylan Chavez from CB2 Architects. The idea for this above you came from Dylan. And the inspiration was when he came out to Chichalu Museum and Cultural Center and was inspired by our Kalapuya baskets, our open weave hazel baskets. And Salem here is the traditional homelands of the Santiam Kalapuya. The village of Chemeketi is nearby here on the banks of the Willamette River. And the Kalapuya, my ancestors, signed the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855 and were removed to the Grand Round Indian Reservation. So not only am I a Grand Round tribal member and work for my tribe, but I'm also a direct descendant of the treaty signer that signed for the Santiam Kalapuya people. His name's Joseph Shingretta. And as an indigenous person of this place, I'm proud to know that the open weave design above you of our hazel baskets is a part of defining this place on the Salem waterfront. When I heard that the amphitheater was to be named after Gerry Frank, I was joyful. Gerry has been an inspiration to many, including me. He and his fellow staffers of Senator Hatfield are Oregonians that inspired me to seek out an internship and work in the U.S. Senate. The tribe has and always will have a connection to Senator Hatfield and his staff. Without the assistance of the Oregon delegation, and particularly Hatfield's office, the restoration of our tribe in 1983 would have not been possible. And of course, I'm a traveler, a foodie, appreciator of good things. If you share these interests of mine, then you as well must know of Gerry Frank. His contributions to the world of food and travel in Oregon are something to be admired. When I heard that this amphitheater was to be named after Gerry Frank, I was joyful and thinking how perfect. Naming this place after a person of this place is very fitting. Thank you to all for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Round and the indigenous people of this place.
Our next speaker is Renee Campbell. And Renee, you can come on up. Renee is what I like to call Rotary royalty. Try to say that fast several times. I stumbled. She's not only a past president of the Rotary Club of Salem and past Rotary assistant governor for our local area, but she served as the Rotary district governor in 2017 to 2018, and she oversaw 69 clubs, Rotary clubs in Northern Oregon and Southwest Washington. Always one to lend a hand where needed, she served on our club's amphitheater task force in helping bring this facility to reality. So please join me in welcoming Renee.
Thank you, Jane. It's a little breezy up here. This all started in 1905 when a well-traveled young attorney hung out his shingle and began to practice in Chicago. He sought some like-minded businessmen of honesty and integrity, not only to do business with, but to build friendships. The idea of adding service actually came along a little bit later. They rotated their meetings from one place of business to the next, and Rotary was born. The idea of business with integrity and fellowship took off like wildfire, and soon there were clubs across the country and internationally. The fourth club was established in Seattle. They sponsored the Portland Club, who sponsored the Rotary Club of Salem in 1920. About 40 years in, Rotary International adopted the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. They were written by a Rotarian to bring a business back from the brink of failure. It's not by accident that we chose to embed that test in the foundation of this structure, representing not only the foundation of Rotary, but the foundation of all successful relationships in our families, our work, our communities, and our civic involvement. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? In the last 100 years, in the history we can find, the Rotary Club of Salem has sponsored or helped to organize 13 clubs, who went on to sponsor at least 12 clubs that we can document in our district, for a total of more than 25 clubs in our family tree. That's a lot of service above self, including, but not limited to, countless local hands-on service and literacy projects, scholarships, grants to local nonprofit projects, playgrounds, sports programs, and hundreds of exchange students in and out of our clubs. Our reach extends across the globe with international projects including clean water, wheelchairs, agricultural, economic, educational, environmental, and health projects. Peace scholars, and support of Rotary's signature project, the eradication of polio worldwide, with only 2 cases reported this calendar year. Before this project, our club already had a big footprint in this park with the playground and the Rotary Pavilion that was built to commemorate 100 years of Rotary International in 2005. And now, this. To celebrate 100 years of Rotary service in Salem and the Willamette Valley, to honor the history of this site as a gathering place, to bring the community together again in this gathering place for decades to come, to contribute to the economic vitality of our community, and to pay tribute to our most senior Rotarian, Oregon's first citizen, and beloved mentor and instigator of good things, Gerry Frank. I, for one, am so incredibly proud to be part of this organization, this club, this community that comes together to make good things happen, things that matter, like this. Thank you so much for being with us to celebrate tonight.
Good job. The City of Salem has been a tremendous partner in this project, and we thank the leadership and staff who've been so helpful in bringing it together. Salem Mayor Chuck Bennett has been and continues to be just a wonderful advocate for our community. Mayor Bennett has been the catalyst for positive change in our community and an effective partner with our state and regional partners. In addition to serving as mayor of our great city since January of 2017, Mayor Bennett is also a member of our Rotary Club. So join me in welcoming him.
Well, tell me, if you can, where you'd rather be right now than here on the waterfront of the Willamette River in Salem, Oregon, at the historic site of Native American communities, under this spectacular building, to honor our dear friend, our mentor, our community and state leader, our city and state first citizen. I'll stop now, Gerry Frank. Yeah. Rotary's new concept of a new amphitheater for Riverfront Park first came to the attention of the city about 5 years ago. If for any of you who have dealt with other cities where it takes a while to get stuff done, it only took 5 years to get this underway, in late 2016. It was an ambitious proposal, one that would require an investment of millions of dollars by both Rotary and the city. And the state. Thank you so much. But funding was not the most ambitious aspect of this proposal. It was rather that this project could only be successful if there was continuous, close partnership between Rotary and the city. The formal relationships between the two organizations was effectively accomplished through, and you can all kind of close your eyes for just a moment and think about this, legal agreements, council resolutions, and park plannings. I don't want you to think this just happened by accident. This took a lot of, more informally, many longtime Rotarians, including Gerry, have been incredible community advocates for years, and we've enjoyed the relationships we've carved, not to mention our admiration, appreciation for Rotarians and their commitment to our city. Most importantly, this project is an incredible success because of the close collaboration, coordination, and communication among the many individuals engaged with the project. Rotary volunteers, city professional staff, tribal leaders, project managers, architects, contractors, planners, especially donors. I don't want to leave out the fact that there was a tremendous private outpouring of support for this project from around the state, really around the country, and many others. It's been an incredible journey. And what we have here today, nearly 5 years from the initial concept, is a statement to everyone what can be done for our community when organizations and the people within those organizations work together toward a common vision and a shared goal. Without a doubt, the Gerry Frank Salem Rotary Amphitheater will build goodwill and better friendships, and it will be beneficial to all concerned and to our community for generations to come. On behalf of the residents of Salem, I want to express my gratitude, my friendship to Gerry Frank, to the Rotary Club of Salem, to the many donors who are here and not here, and to all the individuals involved in turning that 2016 vision into the 2021 reality we have before us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Gerry Epping is our next speaker. Gerry and his family have deep roots in our community and in many ways literally building our neighborhoods and community through their philanthropy and business endeavors over the past 60 years. The family was a key investor in this project. So please welcome Gerry as he shares his thoughts on the impact the amphitheater will have on our community.
Can I sit next to you, Gerry? Can I sit next to you? So they gave me a mic so I could sit next to Gerry. Good evening. My name is Gerry Epping, and I'm lucky enough to consider Gerry Frank my friend. I'm sure many in this crowd consider themselves a friend as well. And in that, we have good company. I feel this amphitheater project is a beautiful testimony to the community and to Gerry. As I'm sure you're aware of through the previous talks, its design was based on the native Kalapuya people that lived here. The structure was taken from the open weave baskets of the Kalapuya, whose history and connection to the riverfront are an integral part of the land and culture of Salem. Add to that the waterfront of our treasured Willamette River and Gerry Frank, and you have a magic combo for a beautiful community asset. This amphitheater will attract the whole community to enjoy. It's a living room, a place to congregate and get together. A place for all to relax and enjoy the performances from a wide variety of musicians, artists, and community organizations. Our role of the Epping Family Foundation and the Epping Family Fund of the Salem Foundation is to give back and create a sense of community for all citizens to live and enjoy. This project is a perfect example of how this can happen. So Gerry, here's to you and the many future events that occur here. As are you. This will be a tremendous treasure to our community. Thank you.
I think Gary's analogy to this being the living room of our community is just perfect. And our past president, Sue Bloom, shared that conversation with us earlier, which was very fitting. Next, the governor. Wow. Before becoming Oregon's 38th governor, Kate Brown served the state, not all at the same time, but she served the state as a state representative, a state senator, and our Secretary of State. In those varied roles over the years, she's developed a strong relationship with Gerry and was an early supporter of this project. She joined former governors Barbara Roberts, Ted Kulongoski, which is great to see you here, and John Kitzhaber to advocate for state funding to build this amphitheater. Please give a warm welcome and thanks to Governor Kate Brown.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, everyone, and what a special place this is. My friend Carrie Timchuk would tell you that the most interesting man in the world is our beloved Gerry Frank. He has some pretty good evidence to support this. Gerry's list of accomplishments truly runs the gamut. He is a Renaissance man who has dabbled in just about everything. He is a veteran who served during World War II and graduated from one of the world's most renowned universities, England's Cambridge University. In business, he was chief executive at his family's department store, Meyer & Frank. He served on many corporate boards, and as we all know, is a restaurateur, opening the Konditorei and Salving Sweet Tooth in Salem for years. In politics, Gerry has served at the highest levels. He was chief of staff to the great Senator Marco Hatfield for 20 years. This partnership was truly unique. His influence was so great, people would call him Oregon's third senator. Gerry has also advised countless governors, including me, pushing us to do better on many things, including vaccinations. Thank you, Gerry. But wait, I'm not done yet. In media, he is the best-selling author of guidebooks to New York City and Oregon, a longtime columnist for the Oregonians, Frankly Speaking, and was a broadcast personality on TV. Gerry is also a philanthropist, dedicating his talents to bettering the community through efforts like chairing the $40 million fundraising campaign that brought the Kroc Center to Salem and raising several $100,000 to upgrade Mahonia Hall, the governor's residence a few years ago. We're about due for another upgrade, Gerry. What do you think? Turns out Gerry Frank was also Santa Claus, dressing up for the Hatfield children for years, personally buying out FAO Schwartz and bringing the Hatfield children so much joy. He is also the first and only person to be officially proclaimed as Oregon's premier citizen. And finally, and perhaps most importantly to me, Gerry is also a chocolate enthusiast. For 60 consecutive years, just think about that. He sat on the stage at the Oregon State Fair to judge the chocolate cake contest, guzzling Pepto-Bismol and filling the room with laughter. And he, of course, had the toughest job of all, choosing the winner. Can you imagine choosing the winner? Not me. It's really, really clear that Gerry has packed a whole awful lot into his nearly century of life on this earth. His list of accomplishments is hard to beat. Oregon and the city of Salem have benefited so much from his wealth of experience and his service to the community. As we dedicate this amphitheater to him today, we dedicate this place of comfort and community to the man who has called Salem home for decades. After all, Gerry could have lived anywhere. He has been everywhere, visiting over 150 countries on nearly every continent, meeting world leaders and dignitaries around the globe. While he lived in DC during his service in the US Senate, his love and his devotion for his home state kept him here. For Gerry Frank, Salem is home. His vision was to make our capital city one of the finest. With the growth of downtown and the connection of Wallace, Minto Brown, and riverfront parks, this amphitheater will be the cherry on the top, a place of gathering, of joy, of life. What a perfect place to be named after one of the most humble, honorable, and generous human beings this state has ever seen. Thank you, Gerry, for your lifetime of service and for everyone who came together to make this dream come true. Thank you.
Senator Betsy Johnson is one of 3 co-chairs, it takes 3 to balance this budget, of the Ways and Means Committee. Senator Johnson from Columbia County works with her colleagues to craft Oregon's legislative budget. In 2019, only with the support of her were her fellow lawmakers able to allocate $1 million of precious state resources for this project in honor of Gerry Frank. Senator Johnson has known Gerry for many years and is here to share some of her thoughts on the historic amphitheater that will carry his name. Without her efforts, we wouldn't be here today. So please let's show our appreciation for Senator Betsy Johnson.
That overstates it slightly. Thank you. Before Facebook, before Twitter, before all the social media we now depend on, there was Gerry Frank. If you knew Gerry, you were LinkedIn. Before there was LinkedIn. Jonathan Nicholas, former columnist for The Oregonian, predicted that one day Gerry's Rolodex would be on display at the Oregon Historical Society because of his knack for knowing everyone who is important or ever will be important. I am thrilled to report that I am now safekeeping Gerry's Rolodex.
So if you need to call Queen Noor, I have her number. We've all heard this saying about cats having 9 lives. Gerry is no ordinary cat. He has had more than 9 lives. In one of the many news articles about him, somebody once described him as a patrician with a heart for public service. Gerry could have coasted through life, had fun, taken it easy. As a member of Senator Hatfield's staff, oftentimes unpaid, he was exposed to the extremes of life that most of us only read about. As the governor said, he's been in about 150 countries, including Afghanistan, where he visited a hospital in a remote village near the Pakistani border. He was so disturbed by the desperate conditions. When he returned to Portland, he called upon local hospitals for any excess supplies that they could offer. They contributed tons of equipment and medicine. And Gerry waded through the bureaucratic hassles to get it all sent to Afghanistan. He's been to Libya, not likely to be on anyone's list of wonderful places to visit. He was asked to go and discuss energy needs and the Palestinian problems. He had heard so many negative comments about the place and its leaders, he actually looked forward to finding out for himself. He did. I can promise you there will not be a Gerry Frank guidebook to eating and shopping in Libya. He and another colleague on Hatfield's staff were asked to secretly meet with the Vietnamese at the Paris peace talks to discuss the release of non-military prisoners. As Gerry recalled his excitement, he realized the closest he had ever come to any undercover work was in his Myron Franks days, when he counted the number of customers in the housewares department at Lipman's during a sales event. And then there was the night on January 21st, 1981, when Gerry found himself alone on the first floor of the White House on the eve of President Reagan's inauguration. Senator Hatfield was producing and directing the inaugural events that year. Gerry looked around in some of the rooms of this famous place, wondering at all of the exciting things that had happened over the years. To be in this location with so much history made him think, only in America could this happen. As the governor said, Gerry is often called the third senator because of his decades of service to first Governor and then Senator Mark Hatfield. He developed influence behind the scenes. Among the political commandments attributed to Gerry were, when dealing with voters, keep the ones that hate you away from the ones that are undecided. And another, when you have nobody to blame but yourself, you are definitely understaffed. He has had a knack for political matchmaking, leaving two strangers together in a room and allowing them to become friends and often partners in various enterprise. He has been a confidant and advisor to all of Oregon's contemporary governors and many in elected office, including a number of my legislative colleagues and myself that are here tonight. Gerry likes to say that he has the blood of one of the great retail stores in America running through his veins. Perhaps we need more retailers in politics and fewer attorneys. Mr. Lundgren might agree with that. Myron Frank had a profound cultural and civic influence on Oregonians all over the state. During the Depression, the store never charged interest or dunned their customers to pay their bill. It ran a one-word newspaper advertisement: confidence. Myron Frank sold more war bonds during World War II than any other store in the country. Today, if you try to tell Oregonians what Myron Frank meant, how it carried all the major brands of the day in all the departments, how it was what they called then a full-service institution, you were liable to get a shrug. So what, they might say. We've got Amazon now. Well, I'll tell you so what. You never saw the scion of Myron Franks blowing a fortune so he could fly into space and look back at Earth. Gerry found plenty of adventure right here on the ground. God bless you, Gerry. We love you. Congratulations on this beautiful pavilion bearing your name.
Do you have a mic?
Yep, we're bringing it right around, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me? This is quite a day. And this is quite a lady. Betsy Johnson is one of a kind, but more than that, she knows more about Oregon because she had a mom and dad that were just as involved as she is. Her mom was very active in school affairs. Her dad was mayor of his city. But you know what tickles me the most about Betsy Johnson is that when she campaigns down in the beautiful Oregon coast, it's not the usual billboard, blah, blah, blah stuff. It's just one word, Betsy. And everybody knows who Betsy is. And you know, my friends looking around today, I could tell some stories about practically everyone in this audience. But there are a couple of people here who would catch me up if they weren't right. And they're sitting right over here. Let's see, you are fifth generation, right, Scott and Jeff? Skip Frank is also, there are 5 of them. He had some ailments, so he couldn't come up. And while we're talking about ailments, that's why I'm in a wheelchair. That I had 2 really traumatic falls. And it's taken me a little time to get my feet under me. So please excuse my rudeness in not standing up. Speaking of generations, I am 4th generation Oregonian. As I mentioned, they're 5th generation. And we now have 8 generations. That's a lot of generations. So, looking back here, you know, the head of the Oregon History Center, an incredible guy, Gerry, is seated right there. He'll go down in the history books too. And next to him, I think, I can't see him very well, but the Bishop family, do you know who they are? The Pendleton Woolen Mills? That's Mort, and that's Mary Lang, and there are so many different Marys and all that they have to use two names, but it's a great outfit. They're wonderful people. Mort's father was a dear friend of mine. His grandfather was a dear friend of my father and grandfather, so it goes all the way back. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this guy here, his name is Ted Kulangoski. You spell it. I'd never heard of the guy. And there was an article in the paper, and down at the bottom was a quote from this guy by the name of Kulangoski. I said, who the hell is that? But we've become great friends, and we share waffles about every Sunday when I'm up to it, which I hope to be soon. So it goes on and on. But ladies and gentlemen, there are two special people I want to point out today. This is one of them, a suited old cowboy. He was a newspaper man. He ran the Oregon exhibit at the World's Fair. And he's done all sorts of things. He wrote for the newspaper, and also he was the advertising manager of Mara and Frank. So he came all the way out from Colorado, right, Bob, to attend this, and that really means a lot to me. But the guy that came the farthest, I want you to meet this man because he is, without parallel, the #1 retailer in all of America. His name is Terry Lundgren. And he's a dear friend of mine, and I think the world and all of this guy. He's retired now, so he lives in Florida. And he and his wife are living a wonderful life. Terry, you are an inspiration, a model, and whatever else they call it. And I can't thank you again for coming out. Means a lot. And then, of course, there was Uncle Julius Meyer, who was the only independent. And I thought you'd be interested to know that Uncle Julius Meyer, when he ran for governor, he ran as an independent. and he got more votes than the Republican and the Democrat combined. It's pretty good. Well, let's see. Yes, I was the longest member of the Salem Rotary Club. And you ought to come to, if you aren't members of the Rotary Club, come to the Rotary Club, and outside there's a bird cage. It's got holes in it. And you are in there by date of something or other. And I'm in there because I'm the longest serving Rotarian. And the members of the club, the only reason they talk to me when I come to the meeting, I don't come to every meeting, is so that they can ask if they can borrow my #1 place in the bird cage. And I would be remiss that Macy's, which Martin Frank is now Macy's, is an amazing organization. And Gerry Lundgren has put it on the map. And one of the things that we learn from Macy's and from Terry is that nothing is too much to take care of the customer. And we take care of the customer, right, Bob? Right? Okay. And imagine, with all the demands there are, this unbelievable man sent a big check here for this to little old Salem, Oregon. And thank you, Gerry. You're a super guy. I want to be like you when I grow up. And then there are so many people who put their time in. Are those legs there? What are you doing hiding behind it? I'd hate to tell you what my legs look like. But there are two guys who came in. I knew who they were, but I didn't know them very well. And their names were Barry Nelson and Ken Von Osdell. Now double that applause. Double it. Those two guys have put their heart and soul in this for what, 4 years? When they came in to see me, I knew they must want something, or they wouldn't have come in. Indeed, they did want something. So it was a great joy to be able to work with them on this project. We've been very successful. There's nothing like it in America, and I thank you very much. So, you know, all of us need strong support to do what we do. That I'm involved in a lot of things, and I can tell you firsthand, I could not do this without this beautiful lady sitting in the front row, and her name is Olga Polyakova. And she's terrific. But forget what I said. Don't you dare steal her. She's mine as long as I'm alive. And she keeps me going. Terrific gal. Okay. So this building will provide prosperity and pride and years of fond memories, and to have two governors here and one almost governor here. So, yes, continue that applause, will you please? The thing I remember best about Betsy's father, he took me down to the camp outside of San Francisco. Yeah. And where old men hide behind trees to do what is necessary to do. I was blown away. I'd never quite seen anything like that since Boy Scout camp. Okay, now, I wish I could go around this room. I could mention just about every one of you. And that Gerry Epping. How many of you really know that man? That is one incredible human being. And I've grown to respect and to love that guy more than I can express to you. So I think that's all the things I'm supposed to say. And I'm supposed to thank a lot more people. I don't know who they are. But I think that we will be able to have some food. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Michael Roth, are you here? Where are you, Michael Roth?
Stand up, yay!
Oh, yeah, he's back there. And Michael Roth is the most modest guy that you've ever met. So we become very dear friends. He's quite a merchant. If you want to know the ins and outs of bread and butter, there is a loaf of bread now called the Gerry Frank bread. That I was having the bread sent from New York, Gerry, but it seemed to me that it was awfully expensive, hundreds of dollars. So Michael Roth and his people now make that bread, and it's their #1 seller. So that's good too. Okay, now I've talked about everybody that I can think of. Oh, that's Bill Schaub over there.
And Marty is here.
And Marty Brantley. They're sort of my chaperones. First thing in the morning, I get a telephone call from Marty Brantley, and secondly from Bill Schaub. They want to know how I'm feeling. This bad lake business is, for the birds, it takes too long. So anyway, Bill and Gerry are sort of my caregivers. And I am deeply grateful to them. Thanks, Bill. He worked for Senator Hatfield, and so did this gentleman with the straw hat on work for Senator Hatfield. Not for long, but and while we're talking about the Hatfields, one very serious note on an occasion when it should be nothing but joy and all. Elizabeth Hatfield, who is the senator's oldest child, is suffering seriously from a crippling disease and needs every bit of our prayers and love today. So let us just observe at a time when everything is so joyous. Let's remember Elizabeth Hatfield. Okay, friends, that's about all. Have I missed anybody?
I'm only going to keep you for just a couple of more minutes, but you're going to want to see what's going to happen in just a few minutes. But first, I get the pleasure of talking about two men that my grandmother in North Carolina would say they hung the moon: Barry Nelson and Ken Van Osdol. Back in 2015, these two gentlemen, and they are, well, Ken is, Barry, I'm sorry, brought together a group of past Rotary presidents to come up with a gift that would be appropriate to signify our celebration of our 100th anniversary and would be a gift to the community and beyond. Well, I think you and I can agree that Barry and Ken hit the ball out of the park. That was for you, Barry, on this one. They worked tirelessly over the past 5.5 years to not only raise the funds necessary, but also worked with the architects and the city of Salem to bring this gift to fruition. So please join me in welcoming Barry and Ken to the podium for a few words.
While you're on your feet, on here. It's on. There we go. So I'll tell you what, while you're on your feet or while you're sitting, I want you to take a look up. Take a look up and see what's over your heads. And tell me, does that bring a smile to your face? Is that cool or what? Now, one of the things that you might know is, or may not know, is that we haven't had this big a crowd here while we've been building this. You're the first big crowd we've had. So Barry and I thought, maybe we give it a test run. Let's try this thing out and see how it works. Are you with us? Okay, here's what we want to do. On a count of 3, I want you in your best voice, I want you to say, Gerry Frank, we love you. On a count of 3. Let's see how this thing works. 1, 2, 3. Gerry Frank, we love you. Woo! I think it works. It works. We're going to do one more. We were just kind of getting tuned up, so here it is. On a count of 3, it's Rotary Club of Salem, happy anniversary. You got it? Easy to remember. 1, 2, 3. Rotary Club of Salem, happy anniversary. Whoa, whoa. We're liking that. We're liking that. You know, there's that African phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. In this case, with this amphitheater, it took a community. And actually not just one community, it took several communities.
That's right, Ken. And one of those communities, of course, was the incredible Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Salem. You took a risk in saying, let's do something bigger than we've ever done. And boy, did we do something bigger than we'd ever done. If you're with the Rotary Club of Salem, would you please stand and be recognized?
Yeah, where are they? There they are. Yeah, go Rotary. Look at them, look at them.
You persevered, and you supported this project
Yes,
for over
yes.
5 years.
Yep. You know, it also took a community of donors, incredibly generous donors in our community and actually throughout the country. It was individuals, it was businesses, trusts, foundations, Rotarians, non-Rotarians, huge span of really generous people who, and the Oregon legislature, I might add. Yeah. And an incredibly generous group of people who saw and captured the vision that this would be a really cool gathering place for generations to come.
And it took a community of architects, engineers, contractors, craftsmen, far too many to name, but we have, I think, 3 of the biggies here tonight in Dahlke Construction, CB2 Architects, and Western Wood Structures. If you're from those organizations, would you please stand and be recognized? Come on, put your hands up. These folks poured their passion into this project. There wasn't a single person who worked on this who didn't work on it with their hearts.
And it also took a community of friends of Gerry Frank, people that it's not a small community, believe me, it's a big community of people that believe in Gerry, who respect him, have honored him, and really wanted to pay tribute to Gerry with this structure. So, thank you, Gerry, for all of your community of friends. And I'd also like to extend a word to Brother Barry. We worked together for about 5 years, pretty close on this. And I want you to know this is a guy.
Don't you do that.
I won't. This is a guy who, his determination, his vision, his steadfastness, his incredible leadership, consistent all the way through this. Barry didn't drop a stitch, he didn't miss a beat. He was always there, 5 years of really tugging through this. He's an incredible leader in this community, and I couldn't be prouder to have worked with you. It's been an honor and a privilege all the way through this. Thank you, Barry.
Well, thank you, Ken. and I would be remiss if I didn't return the gratitude, because Ken has served as co-chair from the very beginning, and it's his leadership and determination and stubbornness and that also helped bring this to reality, and it wouldn't be here today without you, and I couldn't have asked for a better teammate. So an incredible partnership. So to close the program, we were unable, believe it or not, to shroud the entire facility and reveal it to you. But behind us here is what we're calling the reflection wall. It tells the story of culture, of community, and of legacy, and it recognizes the donors to this project, and we have the honor of revealing it to you tonight. So once this is revealed, I encourage you to get up, get some more food, some more drink, come up and see this incredibly beautiful reflection wall, and tour the facility. Look around, ask the architects and the engineers questions. They would love to talk with you about this facility and answer any questions you may have. So, Ken, do you have a rope over there? Jane's got a rope. All right, you're going to count it down with us. In 3,